and welcome. The 2015 elections continue to dominate the headlines. Will the 28th of March and 11th of April remain sacrosanct? What is the status of the distribution of permanent voter cards? And the big question about the card readers. For about 4 hours, INEC Chairman Professor Jega was grilled by senators on virtually all aspects of the upcoming elections. Also tonight, the National Information Center updates the nation on the security situation in the Northeast, just as Defense Headquarters reveals the increasing successes of the military in routing the insurgents. Away from the war on terror, the Lenten season, a 40-day period of prayer and fasting in Christendom, got off to a start with Ash Wednesday. We are also big on business, agriculture and sport this Wednesday on News Extra with me, Aisha Bello Mustafa. Thank you for joining us. We begin with a report from Lagos. President Goodluck Jonathan has arrived there ahead of the commissioning of the newly acquired Nigerian naval ships scheduled for Thursday. The president was accompanied by former governor of Anambra State, Peter Obi, PDP National Chairman Ademo Azu, and the former Minister of Niger Delta, Godsday Orubebe. State House correspondent Shegun Lawale reports that while in Lagos, the president will commission the Egbin Thermal Power Plant and the Olorun Shogo Power Generating Plant. President Jonathan is expected back in Abuja on Sunday. Turning to election matters now, the use of card readers for the 2015 general elections in Nigeria is no longer an option, but a necessity towards enhancing credibility and deepening the nation's electoral process. Chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Attahiru Jega, said this while briefing the Senate on the preparedness of the Commission for the conduct of the rescheduled elections in the country. Let's get more on this from National Assembly correspondent Adamu Sambo.
Areas of security, logistics, personnel, level of distribution of the permanent voter cards, and the workings of the card readers. Professor Jega, alongside the director of ICT of the commission, among other technical staff, demonstrated to the senators how the card readers can be used with the PVCs. The INEC chairman expressed the belief that card readers will add value to the electoral process and also meet the expectations of Nigerians for free, fair, credible and transparent elections.
Everything we are doing is with a view to improving the integrity of the process. The card reader will help us.
On the security concerns which led to the postponement of the elections, Professor Jega was non-committal on the sanctity of the new election dates, saying, however, that the security chiefs, as patriotic Nigerians, need to be given the benefit of the doubt. The Senate President David Mark and other senators described the briefing by the INEC chairman as an eye-opener.
It is for us to assist you to conduct an election that is internationally acceptable in the best interest of this country.
We believed he's ready for this election.
If we have concern about any other agency, it is for us to interact with that agency.
We are about to have free, fair, and credible elections.
My prayer is that INEC would be able to conduct the elections at the appointed times.
Meanwhile, the Senate has formally adopted the fourth alteration bill of the 1999 Constitution, having analyzed resolutions of the state assemblies on the amended sections. Deputy Senate President Ike Ikweremadu sponsored a motion to that effect alongside 47 other senators.
The President will now require to address the National Assembly on a yearly basis for what will now be called the State of Nation Address. We've also provided under Section 65 for independent candidates. Minister of Justice will now be separate from the Attorney General of the Federation. Same thing will happen at the level of the states. Pre-election matters have now been regulated and they have to be concluded within 180 days of filing.
The bill is to be transmitted to the President for assent.
Also at Wednesday's plenary, 3 presidential nominees for key government appointments were referred to relevant committees of the Senate for consideration. From the National Assembly, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Supervising Minister of Information Adam Duke says Nigerians should look forward to a free, fair and credible election in March. Adam Duke said this when he granted audience to NTA News. Take a look.
Because of the active political environment within which we are, it is normal for people to express apprehension. But I'd just like to assure Nigerians that this government and this President, Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, has absolutely no plan to truncate these elections. Come March 28th, Nigerians will go to the polls. The polls will be free and fair, and Nigerians will come out proud in the systems that we have all put in place. I also would like to say that the gains that Nigeria has made following the recent transformation agenda in various sectors of the economy is too much for us to throw away on the platform of speculation, and ultimately Nigeria will come out stronger and the winner in all of this. And it is important for everyone to play their part in our regaining the respectability which is due to this country.
Supervising Minister of Information Adam Duke assuring Nigerians of credible elections next month. In the meantime, the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, says it is supporting Nigeria's electoral process by deploying 250 election observers to monitor the election in March and April. ECOWAS President Desire Kadre Ouedraogo said this during a visit to the APC presidential candidate, General Muhammadu Buhari. Correspondent Abdullahi Garba Bernokudu was there and now reports.
Accompanied by ECOWAS Commissioner in charge of Peace and Security, Salamatu Suleiman, ahead of elections, the ECOWAS president's visit was in further consultations with relevant stakeholders on political development in Nigeria. He said apart from sending a fact-finding team headed by a former Ghanaian president, ECOWAS will continue to support free, fair and credible polls in Nigeria.
And for us, the general elections in Nigeria are of great importance for peace and stability in the region. So we have deployed an observer mission, and we have decided to engage all the stakeholders on the finding of this observation mission. And indeed, we want to thank him for all the efforts he's doing to obtain that these elections are peaceful.
General Muhammadu Buhari commended the international community for its interest in Nigeria.
We show our appreciation for their concern for our political stability. We told our supporters even before the Abuja Accord that our people shouldn't be rude, not even take arms against anybody.
You will recall that the ECOWAS president was also as a presidential pillar where he met with the PDP presidential candidate, President Goodluck Jonathan. Abuja, Abdullahi Garba Bernokudu, NTA News.
In another development, politicians, leaders and INEC officials have been enjoined to desist from doing anything that will heat up the polity. This was the submission of a delegation of the First to the Fourth Republic senators and members of the Federal House of Representatives Joint Forum that interacted with the chairman, Northern State Governors Forum, and Niger State Governor Dr. Muazu Babangida Eliu at the Government House, Mina. Mary Nuebeji has the details.
The delegation of National Assembly First to Fourth Republic senators and members of Federal House of Representatives Joint Forum, led by the former Senate President, Dr. Joseph Woyas, said as concerned citizens, they have come together to make a case for Nigeria and Nigerians, and their first port of call is on the Chairman Northern State Governors Forum, Dr. Muazu Babangida Eliu. Speaking through the chairman of an arm of the forum, Third Republic, Chief Obi Anoli Efu, implored INEC as the political umpire to ensure that 100% of Nigerians registered by the Commission get their PVCs before March 28th and April 11 general elections, adding that the Commission must work towards giving Nigerians a free, fair and credible elections and above all acceptable. He advised aggrieved members to go to court, and the court, he said, must be prudent in discharging its responsibility as the voice of the common man.
If one is not satisfied with the ballot, one should at least be satisfied with the judgment.
And so the whole nation is watching. And this is why I've been concerned recently about our public morality. When people cannot restrain themselves from doing certain things. And this is what is encouraging all this defection and people.
The delegation also cautioned elder statesmen whom he said have been making suggestive and discomforting pronouncements to watch their words and live above boards, as well as warned politicians against campaign of calumny. The delegation also addressed the state lawmakers on the need for politicians to be cautious of their utterances, describing the call for interim government as uncalled for. In Mina, I am Mary Nwebershi, NTA News.
Still from Niger State comes a report that the House of Assembly there has declared vacant the seats of 2 of its members who defected to the APC. The state acting chairman of the PDP, Umaru Musa Maali, described the action of the State Assembly as novel and a move towards bringing moral sanity to the polity, and serves as an example to stem the tide of defections among Nigerian politicians. The PDP party chairman noted that the Niger State House of Assembly has demonstrated that there is still hope for Nigeria in the area of instilling morality and commitment to a political philosophy. Let's turn our attention to security matters now. Nigerians have been advised to be wary of the infiltration of criminal elements fleeing from the northeast in search of safe haven. The coordinator, National Information Center, Mike Omeri, gave the advice while updating defense correspondents on counter-terrorism operations in the northeast. Correspondent Muhammad Abdul Qadir has the details.
The coordinator, National Information Center, Mike Omeri, said the fight against the criminal elements operating in the Northeast is gathering more momentum and gaining what he described as appreciable and applaudable regional solidarity. Omeri enjoined Nigerians to compliment government's efforts to end the impunity of the insurgents by giving timely information to security operatives to track them down.
We commend the recent offer of assistance by the U.S. in the area of training and other logistics for the military forces in the fight against Boko Haram generally.
While condemning the shootout in Okrika, Rivers State by those he described as gun runners, he said government is adopting proactive measures to dispossess those carrying small and light weapons to create tension in the build-up to 2015 elections. Meanwhile, a statement by the Defense Headquarters signed by the Director of Defense Information, Major General Chris Olukolade, disclosed that terrorists incurred heavy casualty in 2 days of military operations in 11 communities in the Northeast. It confirmed further that 5 armored fighting vehicles, an anti-aircraft gun, about 50 cases of packed explosive and rocket-propelled grenade were among items seized from the criminal elements. He stated further that mopping up operation of some of the communities, cordon and search operations are ongoing alongside aggressive patrols. In Abuja, Muhammad Abdul Qadir, NTA News.
Contrary to news circulated in the social media alleging that the federal government withdrew security operatives from the borders, it is strengthening interagency synergy to secure them from transnational crimes. Minister of Interior Abba Moro cleared the air on the issue in an interview with Muhammad Abdul Qadir.
Interior Abba Moro described as untrue alleged withdrawal of security operatives from the borders.
It's been accompanied by a lot of media hypes. This government is equally aware of possible breach of the law is aware of its abiding responsibility to provide for the well-being and security of Nigeria.
Comptroller General, Nigeria Immigration Service, and the Deputy Comptroller General, Nigeria Customs, Musa Tair, said no such directive, verbal or written, came or was received from government.
We are well prepared and we will only double our efforts, and we are doing so at the borders. We have not and we will never withdraw any person at the border.
At no point can the borders be left unmanned. The borders all over the world are manned 24/7 round the clock.
With enhanced synergy of operations to checkmate the porosity of the nation's territorial borders, the relevant security agencies reaffirmed commitment to duty with 24 hours presence along the borderlines. In Abuja, Muhammad Abdul Qadir, NTA News.
And from Katsina comes a report that the Nigerian Immigration Service in Katsina has seized 233 permanent and temporary voter and national identity cards. Correspondent Aminu Ishaq Abba reports that those apprehended are Nigerian nationals after the commission raided their hideouts in the state.
This development is coming on the heels of growing concern over the alleged involvement of foreign nationals in the forthcoming elections. Those apprehended with these vital documents are Nigerian nationals who are illegal aliens. Some of them who spoke off camera told NTNs that they obtained the permanent and temporary voters as well as the national identity cards to make them eligible Nigerians to participate in the general elections. The Comptroller, Nigerian Immigration Service Kaduna State Command, Mr. Emmanuel Obomo, said his command seized the document from December last year to date and repatriated most of those arrested. He expressed concern over the influx of foreign nationals, especially from Niger Republic, through illegal means, and wondered how such people obtain vital documents which give them citizenship rights.
Well, most of these PVCs and national ID cards were not just all these people that are being mocked up. People those of them who passes through the border.
Mr. Emmanuel Obomo said his command will intensify surveillance in all 34 local government areas in Katsina State to fish out illegal migrants with a view to stopping them from voting in the next month's general elections. In Katsina, Amini Shakabas, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has urged prospective voters in Kogi State to leverage on the shift in election date to collect their permanent voter cards. The National Commissioner in charge of Kogi, Kwara and Niger States, Alhaji Abdul Qadir Oniyangi, said this while monitoring the distribution of permanent voter cards in Lokoja. Correspondent Clement Oloruntoba has the details.
The National Commissioner explained that INEC is ready to conduct free and fair elections, stressing that prospective voters can help the Commission to achieve it by taking advantage of the shift in election date to collect their permanent voter cards. Alhaji Abdul Qadir Oniyangi expressed satisfaction with the response of the prospective voters towards the collection of their PVCs.
People should try and collect these voters' cards. It's a legitimate right. And you cannot criticize your government or direct your government in any way if you have not taken the pains to go and do your voting.
With the adjustment of the election dates, quite an appreciable number, have taken advantage to collect their permanent voters card.
Similarly, the state resident electoral commissioner Husseini Halilupai was at the palace of the Ohimege Igu Koton Karfi Alhaji Abdulrazak Sani Isa Koto, where he appealed to traditional rulers to enlighten their people on the need for the PVCs and orderly conduct of the elections.
We have called on all the political parties to desist from using abusive languages.
INEC says it has distributed more than 70% of PVCs in Kogi State, and with the extension, more eligible voters are making frantic efforts to collect their cards.
It's good for those of us that did not come the first time they are sharing it.
So many people will have time to collect theirs now.
The Independent National Electoral Commission has extended the collection of PVCs to March 8 as a result of shift in election date in Lokoja. Clement Oloruntoba, NT News.
The Inspector General of Police, Suleiman Abba, has ordered a high-powered, full-scale investigation into the Tuesday Okrika shooting at the All Progressive Congress rally, where one policeman was killed and 3 others injured. A statement by the Force Public Relations Officer, Acting Commissioner of Police, Emmanuel Ojukwu, says the Assistant Inspector General of Police in charge of Zone 6, Calabar, Johnson Tunde Ogunshake, is to take over the investigation to bring to book all perpetrators, sponsors and conspirators. It further directed judicious prosecution of all suspects arrested in connection with violence across the country. The statement, while restating police commitment to providing an impartial, level playing ground for all political parties to sell their manifestos, regretted the loss of life of a policeman on official duty. He adds that the Inspector General of Police commiserates with the family of the slain policeman and wishes the injured officers quick recovery. Meanwhile, the Inspector General of Police has ordered commissioners of police to embark on intensive recovery of firearms in the possession of unauthorized security outfits and agencies, including some state-owned security outfits across the country. This is contained in a press release by Force Public Relations Officer, Acting Commissioner of Police, Emmanuel Ojukwu. The statement also says the police is to ensure that suspects arrested in connection with illegal possession of arms are given speedy prosecution at the law courts. The statement further explained that the directive is aimed at keeping violence and other criminalities at bay before the 2015 general elections. There are calls for urgent mopping up of illicit weapons speculated to be at 2 million in individual possession in the country. This is the standpoint of discussants on NTA's Current Affairs program Tuesday Live, as they also called for stiffer punishment for illegal possession of firearms. Talatu Ezirike reports.
Light and small arms have become weapons for mass destruction in the African continent, and that many illicit arms in individual possessions in Nigeria found their ways through porous borders, war-torn countries like Libya, and sometimes by politicians who purchase them for selfish. They say measures taken to address these include review of some outdated laws for stiffer sanctions and intensified collaboration campaigns towards change.
That they are willing to hand over to government. Government will put in place development plans.
The best thing is for us to, walk away from this security dilemma that we are pushing ourselves into.
All the speakers made cases for tightening of loose ends as they advised against unnecessary panic or fear that make people to own arms, and for politicians not to see politics as a do-or-die affair.
I think there's the absolute need to control the menace of these thugs that go to disrupt political rallies until we are able to restore our humanity. I think we'll continue to lose lives unnecessarily.
If we are able to have in place early warning and early response, we'll be able to nip violence in the bud before it blossoms.
They were all optimistic of a virile nation. In Abuja, Talati Ezorike, NTA News.
Just ahead on News Extra, the Lenten season begins with Ash Wednesday today, and House of Representatives sets up committee on appropriate oil benchmark. Details shortly. Join us again.
I beg all fellow Nigerians to help me appeal to the head of state. If our mother is killed, there will be no other hope for us in the world.
Gloria Iyama, just 11. She and her sister Patience, 2 daughters from a proud, hard-working woman of Nigeria. A single mother, Gladys Iyama. taken from
Please
others.
do not kill her for God's sake. Please, Daddy Buhari.
Unfairly tried by General Buhari, heartlessly put to death. 2 girls orphaned by a man who knows no mercy. General Buhari took their mother, took her voice. Make your voice heard.
On March 28th,
vote no to dictatorship. No to the man who shows no mercy. Vote for justice and compassion. Vote Goodluck Ebele Jonathan.
I am going to do things I have never done before.
To subscribe to any of the Better Me bundles, or download my 2015 app, dial *123*4#. Data charges apply on app usage.
MTN, everywhere you go.
Contrary to the staged anti-PDP antics of Baba Yabo, General Olusegun Obasanjo, the ordinary voters of Ogun State have rejected APC Governor Amosun and General Buhari. The voice of the people is the voice of God. Vote PDP. Forward Nigeria. This message is sponsored by the Southwest PDP Presidential Campaign Caucus.
My father has always taught me the importance of hard work. He says with Shell's help, he has been given the chance he needs. And that gives me the chance I need.
Shell supports local businesses and entrepreneurs, helping them to thrive and expand. Shell, let's go.
The Chief of the Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Usman Jibrin, CFR, on behalf of officers and ratings of Nigerian Navy, welcomes Mr. President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency, Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, GCFR, to the historic commissioning of 4 warships of the Nigerian Navy, NNS Centenary, NNS Okpabana, NNS Prosperity, and NNS Sagbama. Date 19th February 2015. Time 10 a.m. Venue Naval Dockyard Limited, Victoria Island, Lagos. Mr. President, you are welcome. We salute your commitment towards the provision of platforms for effective maritime a requisite for national development and economic prosperity. Nigerian Navy, onward together. Announcer, Director of Information for Chief of the Naval Staff.
Regrettable that there are persons who still believe that we cannot undertake any collective task in our country without the hindrance of ethnic rivalry, even after 100 years of nationhood. This conference gives us an opportunity to prove such persons wrong, and I believe it will.
He dared many. He did what everybody thought was impossible.
The caliber and eminent status of the delegates attest to the importance which Nigerians attach to this enterprise.
One of his most outstanding achievements is the convocation of the National Conference, where all ethnic nationalities came together and agreed on the future of Nigeria. Goodluck Jonathan is the only president that had the courage to do so. Let's give him another chance to implement the resolutions of the conference for our new Nigeria. Vote PDP. Vote Goodluck Sambo 2015.
This message is brought to you by Continuity Advocates.
Hello, my name is Professor Manisi Anebenam. Last year, when we in AfriHub decided to undertake to be a part of the graduate internship scheme, we were very, very certain that that program was good for us. Today, we have taken in 25 graduate interns in different disciplines. Signing up for the GIS has been of tremendous value to AfriHub. I urge all employers to be a part of this great program. It is a program that really assures that we are keen into our corporate social responsibility.
To join the scheme, register and take graduates to work for you while government pays them. For more information, visit the website. The Graduate Internship Scheme is one of the many programs of President Goodluck Jonathan's transformation agenda, set up to create jobs for Nigerian graduates.
Thank you for being there. The House of Representatives has set up a 15-member committee to be led by House Committee Chairman on Appropriation, John Eno. The committee is to liaise with the Ministry of Finance for a more realistic and appropriate oil price benchmark and medium-term expenditure framework based on current global economic realities. National Assembly correspondent Ifeanyi Okafor has details of this and other activities of the House at Wednesday's plenary.
Sequel to Speaker Aminu Waziri Tambuwal's advice for members to be committed to the discharge of their legislative mandate, plenary commenced with members moving into a closed session. Speaker Tambuwal briefed journalists after the executive session, which lasted not less than 2 hours.
We took time to discuss the 2015 budget, the MTEF, and all the parameters that are related to the budget. And we eventually agreed that as a House, we should constitute a special committee that will engage with the Ministry of Finance and Budget Office on issues about benchmark and MTEF generally.
Other matters itemized on the other paper, including that from Minority Leader Femi Gbajabiamila on the role of the military in elections, were deferred to the next legislative day. Earlier, members of the National Identity Management Commission presented the National Identity Card to the Speaker, Aminu Waziri Tambuwal, and the Deputy Speaker, Emeka Ihedioha. The commission was led by the Director General, Chris Onyemenam.
This is your card, and this is how each citizen of the Federal Republic of Nigeria will receive his card.
The National Assembly will continue to support and encourage you to ensure that Nigerians truly, from all walks of life, irrespective of our callings, get truly registered.
The House reconvenes on Thursday, 19th February. From the National Assembly, Ifeanyi Okafor, NTA News.
In the meantime, the Senate Committee on Power and Steel Development says it is committed to ensuring that Nigerians are not shortchanged in the supply of electricity by the Transmission Company of Nigeria. It was at the 2015 budget defense of the Federal Ministry of Power before the committee. National Assembly correspondent Kenneth Nanim reports.
Though the funds appropriated for the Ministry of Power in the 2015 budget is 5 billion naira, about 92% drop when compared to the amount appropriated in the 2014 budget. The committee wants to perform optimally to ensure even distribution of electricity across the country.
They have been giving some bailouts and some loans to which they should improve. We hope that they will use all those monies to improve on very critical assets of the power sector.
Among other issues, the Senate Committee on Power, Steel Development and Metallurgy also wants the Federal Ministry of Power to adequately supervise its agencies to ensure that transformers provided in the rural areas are energized to supply electricity in these areas to promote investment for national development.
Permanent Secretary, Minister of Power, Godnose Igali, pointed to pipeline vandalism amongst other challenges as major setbacks in the 2014 budget performance. However, he assured Nigerians of improved power supply through adequate coordination of the public-private partnership.
We have to prioritize the programs and the projects that we have to implement. We have to look for other non-government sources, multilateral sources, bilateral sources, to be able to implement the projects.
The meeting was adjourned till Tuesday, the 24th of February. From the National Assembly, Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
Vandalism has become one of the biggest challenges faced in the quest to meet the energy needs of Nigerians. With losses running into millions of dollars, the present administration is determined to plug all loopholes that give room for this unpatriotic act. Ahmed Ambali in this special report tries to find out whose buy-in is needed if the collective wealth of the country is to be properly guarded and protected.
Structure form a great bulk of its wealth. In terms of power generation, oil and gas or other amenities, the country's growth and development greatly depend on how they are handled. In recent times, vandalism of oil and gas facilities have adversely affected power generation in Nigeria. Crude oil facilities, the likes of Odidi, Ekeremo, Bata and Egwa, and gas lines in Egwa and Baramatu have felt the blows dealt by vandals in Nigeria.
We have a problem when the oil thieves go to bunker the oil and gas pipelines, because once the oil is shut down, the flow of gas is also shut down.
The attendant colossal losses from the over 200 incidences on the Trans-Niger crude pipeline in the east have constrained gas supply to power plants and held generation at less than 4,500 megawatts.
Because if there is none intermittent between the point of attack and the the power plants close to it, it means all the power plants there will be affected and there will be no production of electricity.
Hydropower generation in the north, thermal in the west and the east have all been affected, despite government's efforts to bring power closer to the people.
They don't get one kobo of benefit by busting gas pipelines. So why do they bust it?
There is no doubt that there is an element of political vandalization. They really want to make people to rise against government.
Observers believe with greater synergy between communities and security agencies as well as media outfits, acts of vandalism can be brought to a minimum.
These things belong to us. We should not begin to look at them because they are government. If it's your own, how will you feel?
In Abuja, Ahmed Ambali, NTA News.
Thank you very much indeed, Ahmed. Away from energy matters now, today is Ash Wednesday and Christians in Nigeria have joined their counterparts the world over to observe the day, which marks the beginning of the Lenten season. As part of the event, Christians are expected to commence a 40-day season of fasting preparatory to the Holy Week and the celebration of Easter. Correspondent Amina Nujem takes a look at the significance of Lent in the Christian faith.
You are dust, and unto dust you shall return.
Amen. A biblical reminder that from dust man comes, and to dust man will return. Celebrants have ashes placed on their foreheads in the shape of a cross, signifying the commencement of Lent.
The use of ash has a lot of meanings. It's a kind of emptiness. It's a kind of total submission.
Lent mirrors Jesus' period of fasting when he was tempted in the desert by the devil, as contained in the Gospels of Matthew, Mark, and Luke.
There are certain pleasures of life that we live out in order to be able to watch and pray, in order to be able to hear God more and to live a life of holiness.
The fasting requires Christians to make personal vows of abstinence from consumption of beef, notably among the Roman Catholic, Methodist, and Anglican, intense devotion and self-denial.
We have to deny the flesh some good so that our spiritual well-being will be taken care of.
There's a kind of retreat we have for God.
For someone who talks too much, and you know that talking too much offends others, you can choose within this Lenten season, I will stop talking too much.
Christian faithful around the world are observing Lent, 40 days fasting, which will eventually lead to Easter, the foundation of Christian faith according to many believers. In Abuja, Amina Nujain, NTA News.
And as Christians begin the observance of Lent for this year, President Goodluck Jonathan has urged Christians in Nigeria to pray fervently for peaceful, successful and violence-free general elections on March the 28th and April the 11th, 2015. This is contained in a statement by the Special Advisor to the President, Media and Publicity, Ruben Abati. The statement stresses that the Christian community should use the period to reflect on the ideals of human existence as exemplified by Jesus Christ. The President called on all political leaders, Christians and non-Christians alike, to rededicate themselves to the commitment they have made to peaceful, non-violent campaigns and elections to ensure that their supporters across the country uphold that commitment. He urged all political parties in the country to join the federal government to give all possible support and cooperation to INEC to ensure that it delivers free, fair and credible elections. In a similar vein, political parties and their supporters have been urged to play politics devoid of bitterness and rancor to achieve violent-free elections. A message at the Holy Mass at St. Mulumba's Catholic Chaplaincy, Abuja, to mark Ash Wednesday. Correspondent Kenneth Nanim reports that the Senate President David Mark was in attendance.
The Lenten period in the Christian calendar commences with the Ash Wednesday. The application of the ash at the forehead is an act to remind Christians that they were created out of dust, and unto dust they shall return. Senate President David Mark urged Nigerians to use the period of Lent to reflect on their lives, pray for the peace and unity of the country. He advised politicians not to turn campaign rallies into battlegrounds, but dwell on issues that would promote harmonious coexistence amongst Nigerians.
I will not relent in my call that violence must be stamped out of our society. I continue to strongly condemn the senseless killings of our people, innocent, especially the innocent children and women. Therefore, we must continually and collectively create an atmosphere for dialogue, for reconciliation, for understanding and for forgiveness. We are also in a season of political campaigns. I urge particularly my fellow politicians to practice politics without bitterness.
In his homily, Reverend Father Innocent Joji enjoined Christians to use the period of Lent to pray, fast and practice the act of charity, especially to the less privileged. In Abuja, Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
The ongoing transformation in the Nigerian Television Authority has been described as a development that will further promote Nigeria and position it alongside nations that strategically position themselves for global patronage. Correspondent Anthony Forson reports that Supervising Minister of Information Adam Duke said this when he inspected NTA's studio, which is undergoing complete overhaul. Take a look.
The Nigerian Television Authority was established in 1977 as a government-owned organ. It has 11 network centers with over 70 local stations. Supervising Minister of Information Adam Duke, who was at the NTA headquarters, was taken to the ultra-modern network studio being refurnished. The Director General told the Supervising Minister that at this age and time, NTA cannot lag behind in moving with modernity. Expressing his satisfaction with what the NTA management has showcased, he said,
"Today we begin to see a new spirit, a new enthusiasm in the NTA. The new studio is fabulous, and I believe that it will now reposition the NTA and it will bring it closer to the hearts and minds of people. And I really commend the management and the leadership. We see creativity, we see courage and commitment, by Nigerians who are ready to make the transformation a success."
With these words from the Supervising Minister, it is assuring that indeed NTA is poised to catch up with its contemporaries around the world. In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
Thank you very much indeed, Anthony. And as the Federal Road Safety Corps marks 27 years of existence, stakeholders are optimistic that the Commission will reach its target of reducing accidents in Nigeria by 50% by 2020, in line with the Accra Declaration and the United Nations Decade of Action. Aliu Kabir tells us more.
Though associated with challenges since the establishment of the Federal Road Safety Commission 27 years ago, stakeholders say there are success stories in road administration in Nigeria. Such transformation drives are the recently introduced speed limiting device and mobile courts, among others, have helped in tracking down the rate of accidents in Nigeria. For instance, while 308 people were killed during the Yuletide season of 2013, only 120 people were killed as a result of road accident in Nigeria within the same period. The commercial of the FRSC promised more robust strategies to sustain the tempo.
We have seen how the relevance of the Commission was sustained under the successive military regime before the transition to the democratic rule, and how its relevance was further sustained under the democratic dispensation through the legislative review of its enabling laws by the National Assembly, enactment of the FRS Establishment Act 2007.
The effort of the Nigerian Television Authority in the crusade against road accidents in Nigeria was recognized alongside other stakeholders from the private and public sectors, as well as the pioneers and committed staff of the Corps.
It's indeed delightful when some of the best and the brightest in our nation and our generation, all of them aggregate and concentrate their effort in an agency. This is what you get: discipline and excellence. I salute you all.
And I believe that all of you in FRSC must keep that flag flying. You must keep it up. You must ensure that you continue to perform.
When we reduce crashes, we are saving life and property.
The Director General of the Nigerian Television Authority, Shola Omole, officiated the cutting of the cake.
And at the fourth time, then they will cut.
With almost 6,000 deaths recorded in a total of 10,380 road crashes in Nigeria in 2014 alone, the Federal Road Safety Corps has urged all stakeholders to remain committed to the activities of the Commission in order to ensure an accident-free society in Nigeria. In Abuja, Aliu Kabir, NTA News.
You're watching NTA News Extra. I have a lot more, but that will be after this short break. Join us again.
south, from the east to the west. There's a sound all around, a mighty voice to be heard. Everybody's crying out. Can you hear the mighty shout? It's a call from the fatherland for the man who is right. Good luck, Jonathan.
I am going to do things I have never done before.
To subscribe to any of the Better Me bundles, or download my 2015 app, dial *123*4#. Data charges apply on app usage.
MTN, everywhere you go.
All through the journey that has lasted 54 years, the message has been peace. Our founding fathers preached it. Our fathers after them preached same.
We need a lot of peace.
The fight against violence and insurgency is not a one-man fight. It is a collective effort from all of us. Through his spokesperson, His Royal Highness Sanusi Lamido Sanusi, Emir of Kano, reiterated the importance of peaceful coexistence.
His Royal Highness encourages you to live together in peace and harmony, because without peace, there can never be progress.
Let's join Mr. President and the security agencies in the fight against insurgency and the promotion of peace. This message is from Focus Youth for Progressive Peace Initiative in Nigeria.
Chioma, I bet you can touch your nose with your thumb.
A nose?
It's the same with your toilet. There are many places in your toilet that detergents cannot clean. That is why the new Harpic 5 times Complete gives you 5 times better cleaning than detergent from the rim all the way to the U-bend, making your toilet completely clean. With Harpic 5 times Complete, you will definitely reach all the hard-to-clean places in your toilet.
Harpic Power Plus. Buy now for only 350 Naira.
Every time you get on the pitch, nothing feels better than giving 100%. When you hear the sound of thousands of our fans roaring, you just have to. And for us, nothing's better than Chivita 100%. With 100% goodness and 100% satisfaction. Go all the way with 100% or nothing. Chivita 100%. 100% or nothing.
Embracing life to the full means coming into contact with germs,
Feeling brightly energized.
which could mean facing some unexpected moments.
Feeling brightly energized.
Even family fun time is no sweat at all. That's because I use Dettol Re-Energize. It protects me and my family from everyday germs. With bursts of orange citrus, I end my day the way I started. Re-Energize.
From north to south.
Undeterred by the enormous national challenges inherent in corruption, the PDP government has worked compassionately to put Nigeria in the League of Nations. From a pariah nation to a nation of international repute substantiated by the influx of global investors into Nigeria, the decay in national infrastructure is receiving the much-needed attention it deserves. The trains are back on tracks after years of comatose. The second Niger bridge proposed decades ago is now in progress. Agric sector is being revamped. the hitherto stunted economy is now #1 in Africa. Understandably, we are not yet where we deserve, yes, but we are making significant progress. Surely we are getting there.
Vote Goodluck Jonathan for president. Goodluck Sambo. Transform Nigeria.
This message is brought to you by Continuity Advocates.
The Dettol and Ministry of Health team is visiting schools to teach children how to protect themselves from diseases.
Do you know what germs are? They are tiny, harmful, living things that you pick up from dirty surfaces. These germs can make you ill and prevent you from doing all the things you like to do with friends. That's why you need to fight them by washing your hands regularly with Dettol soap.
Mom, today we learned how to fight germs with Dettol soap.
Thank you for being there. The Cairo Correct scheme of the federal government, driven by the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, has continued to impact the lives of users of the product across the country by making it available at the regulated price of 50 naira per litre. Energy correspondent Hawasalu Adama brings details of the implementation of the scheme in the northwestern part of the country.
It was the turn of residents of the three northwestern states of Zamfara, Sokoto and Kebbi as officers deployed to monitor the implementation of the scheme arrived their domains.
I
thank God the way government spoke to them and the operators, they easily comply immediately. That is the talk of the town presently. Kerosene in Mega is 15 naira a litre. While other places they are selling it for 150, 140, 110. Lowest anywhere you can get it is 110. Lowest is only they are selling 15 naira in the whole Sokoto. I'm telling you the truth.
We thank God for this government will bring this kerosene for this Benin Kebbi. May God help them when they continue to bring this kerosene again.
I'm really happy to recommend NNPC oversee that, you know, if the kerosene they can subsidize it to this amount, everybody in Nigeria as a nation will be very happy.
Wannan mun samu ci gaba akan wannan kero din da aka taimaka aka kawo mana. Gaskiya za mu samu saukin dahuwan abinci.
With each user of the product entitled to at least 25 litres at the unit cost of 50 naira, majority of the beneficiaries say their expectation is that the 3-month designated period be considered a test run that could be extended.
Pump more kero to us so that we will not be suffering again.
We say that one person will receive just one jerrycan, which is 25 litres. But all of them, I don't know whether they think this fuel is going for not coming back again. They want to collect 2, 3, 4. We said no. The challenges we are receiving from them, we want them, please. We are calling on all the major stakeholders to make sure that these people come with only one jerrycan per person so that the availability will reach even the villages.
Although only NNPC and affiliate stations are the assigned outlets for now, remote areas within the country are not left out, as the expectation is that any user of kerosene interested in the product can access it irrespective of location. Hawa Salihu Adama, NTA News.
Moving on to agriculture matters now, Supervising Minister of Information Edem Duke says part of the federal government's transformation agenda is to enlist a broad participation of Nigerians in agriculture in a bid to create wealth, generate employment, and guarantee food security. He said this in Abuja at a sensitization workshop organized for staff of the ministry on how they can engage in agricultural activities. Anthony Fosun has the details.
The supervising minister said agriculture is a viable option for civil servants to augment their income and support social development programs of the government, hence the need for them to embrace skills in agriculture.
But it takes the vision of a leadership, the vision of a government to say that it is important for us to enlist the participation of all and sundry in ensuring that we embark on a Marshall Plan that will provide food on the table for families, and it will empower our citizenry.
In her remarks, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry, Dr. Folashade Yemi Esson, said the workshop is in keeping with the promise made by management to organize sensitization workshops on how workers can make optimal use of opportunities around them for economic empowerment.
People that are wise are already doing things that are empowering them. I discovered that most of your directors are already farmers.
A resource person at the forum, Karima Babangida from the Federal Ministry of Agriculture, said under the agri-transformation agenda, 25 value chains have been developed in crops, livestock and aquaculture. In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
The contending issues arising from a failed mass housing scheme conceptualized by the Nigerian Labour Congress, NLC, and a private developer was the focus of today's episode of NTA's Current Affairs program, Good Morning Nigeria. Subscribers to the scheme are apparently aggrieved over the fact that nearly 2 years after takeoff, the properties subscribed for have not been, nor have the monies paid to the NLC and the developer been refunded. Ngufan Shaji tells us more.
Housing is clearly an issue that appeals to most Nigerians, considering the national housing deficit and the quest by most people to secure one of life's necessities. And so when in 2013, thousands subscribed to the NLC Crystal Lally housing scheme in Abuja, hopes were quite high and many were riding on the dreams of owning their own houses. Months into the scheme and the stories changed. Dreams became nightmares and the battle line was drawn between subscribers, the NLC and its development partner Crystal Lally.
They had told us that within a period of 12 months, the house will be delivered to us.
And as it is, the NLC and the developer, they have breached that contract.
Over 3,000 Nigerians are believed to have subscribed to the scheme, many who now hope they can get their investment back. Though not a guest on Good Morning Nigeria, Ikechukwu Sunday Ani is one of the aggrieved subscribers.
NLC should, without relenting, start refunding subscribers their money with immediate effect. And not only that, with an interest. And should equally tender an apology to the entire Nigerian workers.
I think that is that assurance that it is not, their money is not lost and that nothing is going to suggest that they will suffer anything with my exit as an individual, as president of NLC.
For now, this issue remains on the table, and while the matter subsists, some have said it puts the leadership of the NLC in disrepute. In Abuja, Gufan Shalji, NTA News.
In the meantime, following last Wednesday's botched elections, the National Executive Council of the Nigeria Labour Congress has resolved to reconvene on the 12th of March to conclude the process of the 11th Delegates Conference to produce a new leadership for the Congress. The decision was reached in Abuja when past presidents of the Congress and members of the National Executive Council met to iron out grey areas that led to the disruption of last week's elections. Emmanuel Ayimiro has the details.
Exhaustive deliberation lasting several hours. The leadership of the NLC told the media that all contestants have agreed to put the past behind and abide by the rules to move the Congress forward.
As a result, the elections, the conference will be reconvened on the 12th of March to conclude the issues of election that have been outstanding.
Former presidents of NLC, Comrade Hassan Sumonu, and the governor of Edo State, Comrade Adams Oshomole, said what the movement has demonstrated is that errors can be corrected.
Nigerian workers and Nigerian nation is looking forward to a strong, united Nigerian Labour Congress to intervene in the event of any political party or politician that want to, destroy the unity, the solidarity, the cohesion of our nation.
The labor movement still has a lot to teach the rest of the political class. That we can disagree, mistakes can be made, men and women of goodwill can rise, working together to put that behind them.
The meeting agreed to reconvene in 3 weeks so as to put every logistic in place for a more transparent election. In Abuja, Emmanuel Ayemiro, NTA News.
We take you to Anambra State, where the governor, Chief Willie Obiano, has flagged off a youth skill acquisition and empowerment scheme at the Technology Incubation Center, Nnewi. Ekene Ndulwe was there and now reports.
500 youths will receive training in various areas such as spare parts fabrication, information and communication technology, soap making, among others. The participants are drawn from the 21 local government areas of the state and will be trained for a period spanning 3 weeks to 2 months, depending on their chosen areas of specialization. The training will be conducted in batches, and the second batch of participants will be inducted after 2 months. Governor Obiano said participants will receive funds to start up businesses at the end of the training, adding that 2 additional vocational centers will be built to represent the 3 senatorial zones in the state. The governor, who also donated a 300 kVA transformer to the center, assured residents of Nnewi of regular power supply in the near future.
What is being produced here is one of the best things you can buy anywhere. Be it automobile parts, some industrial pressure pots.
The Commissioner for Science and Technology, Honorable Obi Nwankwo, said the center will equip participants with the right skills needed to tap from the increased investment opportunities in the state. The center manager, Technology Incubation Center Nnewi, Mrs. Uche Chukwu, enjoined the beneficiaries to take full advantage of the opportunity to improve on their economic self-reliance. From Nnewi, Ekene Ndulwe, NTA News.
From Anambra, we move on to Taraba, where women under the House-to-House Initiative group have promised to accord President Jonathan the desired support. Correspondent Christy Adaji covered a rally organized by the women.
Speaking at the rally, the national leader of the organization, Mrs. Fumi Uzo Nandi, said the group is out to give President Goodluck Jonathan the needed support and also appeal and sensitize the people, especially women, on the reason why the president should be given another chance to continue his transformation agenda.
Make sure we have all our voting cards. Vote for all the structures in Taraba State.
Wife of the state acting governor, Hajiya Jamila Sani Abubakar Danladi, expressed joy with the turnout of women and called on them to come out en masse and vote PDP candidates. In their separate remarks, the zonal coordinator Northeast, Mrs. Ali Sada, and the state coordinator, Hawa Usman, said the future of women is better secured in the hands of the PDP presidential candidate, whom they described as vibrant and result-oriented. Christy Ayagwa Adaji, NTA News.
If you're just joining us, this is NTA News Extra. We have more reports after this short break. Join us again.
Does your husband shed need some whitening? Just use a little jig in some water. With jig, pot puree and lemon, your cleaning troubles are over. Is there a dirty floor stain that's frightening? Or a muddy mess left by your daughter? Is your stove no longer so shiny? Or your bra as dirty as ever? That's Jiggies! Pot puree and lemon. That's Jiggies! It makes cleaning a joy. That's Jiggies! Hey, you better go get That's Jiggies! Now available in lemon and pot puree fragrances, the newest and freshest way to jig it.
Your call credit is low.
Network no dey finish with 50% bonus on all recharge monthly, 100% instant bonus daily, and 200% bonus every weekend to call all networks. You never have to worry about your airtime on the Etisalat network. Talk longer when you recharge today.
Etisalat, now you're talking.
Even family fun time is no sweat at all. That's because I use Dettol Re-Energize. It protects me and my family from everyday germs. With bursts of orange citrus, I end my day the way I started. Re-Energize.
Don't you wish your mommy was fine like mine? Yeah. Don't you wish your mommy was smart like mine? Yeah. Don't you? Yeah. Don't you wish your mommy could cook like mine? Yeah. Don't you wish your mommy was pleased like mine? Yeah. Don't you? Don't you wish your mommy could laugh like mine?
And that's why every mom should take 3 Crowns milk with low cholesterol to help stay fit and healthy so she can take extra care of her family. 3 Crowns milk. Healthy moms, happy families.
Don't you wish your wifey was hot like mine?
3 Crowns now comes in powder.
Welcome back. In an effort to rehabilitate and resettle victims of insurgency in Adamawa State, the National Emergency Management Agency has flagged off a fact-finding visit to areas recaptured by the military. Correspondent Muhammad Saidu reports that the visit is aimed at rebuilding the hope of the victims and reassuring them of government's resolve to cater for their welfare and well-being. Take a look.
7 local government areas in Adamawa State were earlier captured by insurgents forcing members of the communities out of their homes for months. During this period, a lot of damages were done on the houses of the victims, which require rehabilitation and reconstruction. To achieve this desire, the National Emergency Management Agency set up a committee to identify the immediate needs of the returning victims and also advise on how they can be assisted. Flagging off the assignment in Gombe local government, the committee members told the returnees that the federal government is doing everything to assist them to rebuild their destroyed houses. The committee also Commander 28th Task Force Brigade based in Hong, Brigadier General Victor Izogu, who informed them that all the local government captured by the insurgents, except Madagali, have been recaptured and adequate security is being provided in the areas.
We are not leaving Adamawa State until the first and second consignment of relief materials come. We will distribute them. You can see that there is peace here. The military has really done a good job.
Minister of Youth Development Boni Haruna, who commended the federal government for the gesture, appealed to the victims to be more patient as government will continue to assist them.
Everything is being done to ensure that they come back to their houses and to start their lives again.
Local government areas so far liberated include Gombe, Hong, Mubi North and South, Maiha and Michika. In Yola, Muhammad Saidu, NTN News.
Now let's turn our attention to a bit on health. How do you rid yourself of toxins, or simply put, how do you detoxify yourself? Well, there is an emerging science documenting how the immune system functions optimally when the human body has an adequate supply of electrons, which are easily and naturally obtained by barefoot contact with the earth. Health correspondent Rabi Abdallah takes us through this health concept called earthing or grounding. Take a look.
With the increasing plethora of all things, wireless and digital television, man is being literally bombarded with high levels of electrical and microwave radiation, in addition to the changes in the way the human cells and neurological system communicates. Nature has, however, provided man with various antidotes to the toxins that the human body accumulates.
A center in your atrium that fires off electrical charges that control your heartbeat. If you do not make sure that you're surrounded by the right amount of electrical charges, it will do damage to you. I advise people to get out and ground themselves. Walk on your bare feet. Connect yourself back to the earth. You need to be in bed by 10:30. That is critical. Your first sleep cycle is one in which your body will do its detoxification. If that doesn't happen in that first cycle, then detoxification is not going to happen for the rest of that night.
Concept of ground that has to do with getting antioxidants directly from the soil. The same way we get them from plants, fruits, and vegetables. And you know the effects of antioxidants generally. They help us tackle the free radicals in the body system.
When you exercise, the body's metabolic activity is enhanced. And when you do this exercise, a lot of toxins leave your system.
Research shows that modern-day rubber and plastic shoes are electrical insulators and therefore block the beneficial flow of electrons from the earth's body. It's grounding time, and I'm all barefooted in a very conducive environment for grounding, talking about the Millennium Park in Abuja. While at this grounding environment, the crew caught a glimpse of these birds. Are they grounding to keep bird flu at bay, you might ask? A chat with people around shows that grounding is a concept not yet known to many. Have you ever heard of the word earthing or grounding?
No, I haven't.
They eventually got enlightened, hence these reactions.
I'll go for grounding because it delays aging.
It feels good standing barefoot on a very damp soil on ground. I like the fact that it delays aging.
Can we just ground out of this place? It's all about optimal health, from sufficient sleep to the antioxidants we get from fruits and vegetables to good old grounding. In the case of grounding, however, experts advise that it is neither a treatment nor a cure for any disease or disorder. However, the fact that man evolved from earth underscores the need for him to have regular contact with earth so that the body can function properly. In Abuja, this is Rabi Abdullah, NTA News.
Thank you very much indeed, Rabi. That's quite interesting. Nothing beats nature. Now, from far away New York, we have a report that Nigeria has been re-elected by consensus to chair the United Nations C-34 Special Committee on Peacekeeping Operations for the 6th time, making it the first nation with the feat in the history of the United Nations. Joy Osiagu has details of the opening event and the 2015 substantive agenda.
With the increasing complexities in conflicts and the latest challenges in peacekeeping operations, Nigeria's Professor Joy Ogwu, and chair for the 6th time, and the leadership of the United Nations, encouraged members of the C-34 Committee on Peacekeeping Operations to focus on vital issues such as safety and protection of civilians.
Countless individuals who are facing violence and are witnessing the destruction of their homes and lives are counting on us.
You can be assured that I'll continue to do my best to accomplish the mandate given to the Special Committee by the General Assembly and attempt to guide his work to a successful conclusion.
Members of the committee extolled the re-election of Nigeria as chair, noting the implication for the African region.
It's a recognition of Nigeria's contributions to UN peacekeeping activities.
Most of the operations are taking place in Africa. So I think for a Nigerian to lead this session, it is very understandable.
It's a privilege for all of us.
Established by the General Assembly Resolution 2006 of 18 February 1965, the Extraordinary Committee has a mandate to conduct a comprehensive review of all issues relating to peacekeeping. From the United Nations headquarters in New York, Joy Osiagu, NTA News.
This is News Extra. Still to come, news from around the world plus sports update. Join us again.
Know that
that you are exposed to up to 100 illness-causing germs every day?
I encourage my kids to learn new things, and if they get hurt, I rely on my Dettol to fight germs. It's like my own first aid kit.
My family needs protection from germs. My Dettol disinfects surfaces and clothes, keeping them clean and safe from germs.
I bet you can touch your nose with your thumb.
A nose?
It's the same with your toilet. There are many places in your toilet that detergents cannot clean. That is why the new Harpic 5 times complete gives you 5 times better cleaning than detergent from the rim all the way to the U-bend, making your toilet completely clean. With Harpic 5 times complete, you will definitely reach all the hard-to-clean places in your toilet.
Harpic Power Plus. Buy now for only 350 Naira.
Nigeria is a democracy, not a monarchy. Buhari, why do you perpetually threaten Nigerians?
If you don't do it, it's the risk of your life.
Nigerians, we were delivered once from the tyranny of General Buhari.
The ambition of any politician is what they love of any Nigerian.
On March 28th, go out and vote en masse. Vote for unity. Vote for the love of Nigeria. Vote Goodluck Ebele Jonathan for the continuity of one Nigeria. A message from We Are Nigerians.
On the foreign scene, Ukrainian forces beat a retreat from major eastern town, and Africa believed to hold the key to solar energy supply by 2050. These and more on Global Tidbits with Chimdimma Ndubuzi.
About 80% of Ukrainian troops pulled out of eastern town